Hey there, everybody. One of the highlights of my summer 2021 is absolutely waking up every single morning and training my students in leadership. So whether or not you follow along every single morning live with me, or you are part of our online audience and you're watching this as a recording, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for investing in your leadership. Today's lesson is really simple. We've been talking about customer service all week, and today we're going to kind of implement that into our home life. So I call it Customer Service Skills at Home Edition. Here we go. So our Academy vision is very simple. We're in week 2 of 4, and this whole week we've been learning about customer service skills. And we have 4 amazing guest speakers who have joined us every morning from In-N-Out Burger, and they have taught us a lot of fundamentals and a lot of tricks and tips on how to have better customer service. So some good advice and practice. If you're watching this, please take out something to write on. Please take out something to write down some notes on, because we're going to talk a lot about customer service, and I want to make sure that you remember it. If you haven't already, there's a free note taker that I'm giving out if you just put in your email in the link below. So check the description below for a Google form link. If you do that, I'll email you a free note taker. And if you complete all the notes of all the 15 days, then you can get a free certificate of completion upon completing this leadership course. All right. So why customer service? Because leadership equals customer service. And we've been talking a lot about this in class. And if you watched any of my past videos, you see leadership and the customer service have a lot of parallels. It's not about us. It's a people business. It's an opportunity to serve others. We see a need, we fill a need. It's a platform to impact people. And ultimately, it helps us learn how to deal with people more and more. So I always say, if you have great leadership, then you understand customer service. If you have great customer service, then you're a great leader. So it's all about people skills. So on Monday, I talked about 5 different customer service principles. If you haven't seen that video, you can check that out, where I lay out kind of like the main information that you need to know about customer service. Yesterday, I talked about how ultimately when companies hire you for a customer service oriented job, they're not asking you to respond how you normally would respond. They're asking you to kind of put on these customer service goggles or these customer service glasses and see the situation through a customer service lens. When someone says something about you, when someone says something about the company, instead of responding how you normally would and defending yourself, it's more about, hey, thank you for sharing this with us. Thank you for your business. Thank you for being a customer. Without you, we wouldn't be a business. Let's work this out. How can we serve you? How can we make this negative situation back into a positive situation? We talked about tone yesterday and how it really matters how you say things instead of just what you say. And today I gave my students 6 bullet points, so 6 tips on how to further solidify your customer service. You see, when you are in a customer service role, you have to see the bigger picture, right? In order to serve the people right in front of you. See, like when someone comes in and says, well, I just don't like this company. I just don't like you. I just don't like this business, etc. Usually we see that as a personal attack, but you've got to take a step back and you've got to see the big picture. How I respond to this customer, my manager will probably hear. My colleagues next to me, who my coworkers are also going to hear as well. And once again, most likely we don't know what's going on in this customer's life. So do you see how in order to understand customer service, you got to see the bigger picture, because usually it's not personal. It's just they're upset about something and it's your job to see and talk to them and listen to them and see how you can make it better. Number 2, sometimes you've got to be the bigger person. Now, the advice that I gave my students this morning was, don't ever say, hey, I'm going to be the bigger person, so I'm not going to respond to you in the way you're responding, in the way you're talking to me. Don't say it. Don't ever say that you're the bigger person. People don't like hearing that you're bigger and then they're the smaller person and that they're making a mistake. No matter what the customer says, you have to understand, like, hey, it is my job to listen and to respond in love and in kindness, because it's my job to do so. You see that? And honestly, that can actually help you out a lot in your personal life. Same thing with customer service. The relationship is more important than being right. Even if the customer never comes back after this horrible experience, apparently, they still talk. And we talked about how ultimately we still want to maintain a good relationship, no matter if they are kind to us or mean to us. It's kind of tricky here. Okay. Number 4, we are patient. We listen first before speaking. Number 5, doing the right thing is so much easier than not doing the right thing and then having to clean up your mess. So we've talked a lot about that, and I stay true to that and I stand by that. And then finally, number 6, it's not that we always say yes to the customer. We try to, but there are some cases in which we can't, and we've got to say no. But if we say no, we've got to say it in a nice way. We say the truth in love. So I was talking to my wife this morning about our lesson today, and she said, this is actually the secret to any relationship, right? I know right now we're talking about customer service when it comes to a business standpoint, but really it matters in the family aspect as well. And that's what we're going to talk about today. You've got to see the bigger picture. You've got to sometimes be the bigger person and not talk back and say, you know what, I've heard you. Thank you so much for sharing how you feel, and give me an opportunity to make that up. Relationships are way more important than being right. In the moment, it's all about being right, defending yourself, advocating for yourself. But let's be real. Sometimes when you do that, you kind of show the person, hey, I'm not listening to you and I only care about my own feelings. But in reality, the relationship is so important. Listening, prevention, and saying the truth in love. All of these 6 principles are important for any relationship. So thanks for listening. All right. So here's the plan today. We're going to talk about how does customer service apply to our family and at home situations. I have 3 different points, and that's it. I'm done. Short video today. So go ahead and take down some notes here. Number 1, treat family just as good as the people you serve. You see, when I say this statement, it comes from a place of regret. It comes from a place where I wish I changed the way I kind of handled things when I was growing up. Did I treat my family well? You betcha. But did I treat other people probably better sometimes? Actually, yes. Coaches, mentors, teachers, friends, right? Significant others. So there's so many times growing up in which I look back and I think, why would I do that for my friend and not for my family? And a lot of times, like, we serve others so much and that when we go home, we're tired. But what I'm trying to tell you today is please learn to treat your family just as good as the people you serve. Father's Day is coming up. This Sunday, Father's Day is happening. And every dad knows that it's Father's Day. Sure, some dads may say, don't do anything for me, I'm good. That being said, deep down, they know it's Father's Day and they're kind of seeing like whether or not you're going to do anything or not. You don't need to do anything big, but you do need to mention it, and you do need to honor your father in some way. It's an opportunity to. We honor our moms, we honor our dads, and there's special holidays for them. And the task that I gave my students today is, hey, come up with 5 best ideas to honor your dad for Father's Day. And so many ideas popped up, and I'm so grateful for that. Now, some of you don't have a dad. And if that's you, I just want to say my heart goes out to you. I know how difficult it is. And all I got to say is think of someone who has filled in the father role for you and honor them on Father's Day. All right. My wife and I did a study on the 5 love languages when we first got married years ago. And the point I'm trying to make is we learned in this study that there are 5 love languages of people. There's words of affirmation, there's quality time, there's physical touch, there's acts of service, and then there's receiving gifts. Now, if I'm just going to sum up what we got from that study right now for you. Now, whether or not you're 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or maybe a little bit of all of them, the main thing I learned from that study was how we want to be loved isn't how the person you're trying to love may want to be loved. We all have different love languages. So just because you like words of affirmation, it doesn't mean that the other person does. Everyone's different. Point I'm trying to make is this: as we go into Father's Day, don't think about what you think they would like. You know your dad better than anybody. And the best advice I can give you is make sure you honor him in the right way in terms of what he likes to do, what he likes to eat, etc. Right? By doing that, we're more thoughtful and we're more intentional with our actions. So that's number 1. Number 2, loving as families are, all families will have some conflict. Okay? That's every family. That's my family. That's your family. The more time you spend together, chances are there's going to be some conflict, and that's okay. Like you shouldn't think of it always as a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if there's conflict and then there's no resolution and there's no learning and growing from it, right? So today's task this morning, I had my students brainstorm. What's a common conflict your family usually has? And how do you normally handle it? And just hearing each other talk it through, I think we all kind of realize, wait, that happens in your family too? Yes, it happens in mine. So the point I'm trying to make is, as loving as we are to other people in our jobs, in our friendships, please make sure you take care of your family with the same level of care, grace, and love as you do to anyone else. Let's say there's a conflict between you and your boss. Are you just going to not talk about it? No, you've got to talk about it. Are you going to hopefully grow from it? Yeah. But so many times, a lot of things can be avoided. Now, knowing what you know now, how would you handle it? That was my question. And so many examples came up. And I want you to think about this if you're watching the recording. So many examples came up of, well, I usually argue back when my parents say blank. And knowing what I know now, maybe I can just listen to them and know that they care for me. I heard that this morning from a lot of students. And that's what I want you to start thinking about. You know, it's really interesting because this morning it was brought up that some parents are too involved when it comes to school. But as a teacher, I'll tell you that I see both sides. I see parents who are very involved and who really, 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 truly care about their students' success. And then I talk to parents who unfortunately don't have the opportunity to be as involved and don't even check online grades or anything like that. Now, it's really interesting because if your parents are super involved, then you probably want parents who aren't involved. If your parents who are not involved, I've heard this, they say, well, I just wish my parents were more involved. Do you see that? We always want what we don't have. But in reality, we should all just learn how to love what we have. Let me say that again. So many times in life, we want what we don't have. We want the other side, but let's be real. Just appreciate what you got. If your parents are involved, if they're on you, if they are constantly checking your grades, that's actually a good thing. It shows that they care about you. So you've got to view it like that and work together on a team instead of always butting heads and saying, why are you always checking, stay out of my life, etc. They just care. Okay. And that's how I've learned to see it. Finally, number 3, respect and honor your elders. Okay. So the task that I gave my students this morning is, how do you think an elderly person, family, or friends would want to be spoken to? And you've got to put yourself in their shoes. And my big thing about this is we don't know what their upbringing was. You know, so many times we look at old elders and we judge them. We look at how they live and we compare how we live to them, but they may have not had the same upbringing. I've had elders in my family or family friends as well who unfortunately had to go through a lot of trauma when they were younger, whether or not that's a war, whether or not that's leaving their country and coming here. And point I'm trying to make is all their actions are shaped by their upbringing. The reason why they do things is because they grew up a certain way, and you can't blame them for that, nor should you change them for that. That's their choice on how they want to live. And so many times I've seen young people see people in their family or friends of their family, elders, live a certain way, and it's point and laugh almost. And I'm like, that's not right. One day we're going to be there, right? Like we just went through a pandemic, and maybe one day, 40 years from now, someone's going to laugh at you because you're like, why do you wear a mask? Well, let me tell you something. We went through a very difficult year in which we had to do that every single day, wherever we went. But once again, they may not have gone through that. They may not have understood. So once again, respect and love. Those are the 2 things that we should always look at our elders for. They may be different than us. They may criticize how we live sometimes, but we don't have to do it back. Just like in customer service, we don't talk back. We don't take things personally, and we trust that they love us. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. The next video we have is customer service at the school level, teachers, colleagues, friends. And then next week, we're doing a leadership discussion on diversity and inclusion. So once again, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. Please join us as we have got 2 more weeks left. And thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time.